This video breaks down three things: how the market is setting up for 2026, the top 6 stocks positioned to explode, Planet Labs, EchoStar, AMD, Micron Technology, Intuitive Machines, and Lam Research, and the 7 things you must do by January 31st. Let me start with what's really happening. We've got 8 straight months where hedge funds are leveraged to the hilt, insanely bullish. Goldman's sentiment indicator is stretched. JP Morgan's hedge fund indicator shows they're at extremes. This means risk because they can't get much more bullish. And that GDP number that lifted the market, total garbage. If you dig into the data, almost the entire GDP growth surprise came from healthcare spending, specifically health insurance premiums going up. So the economy grew because your health insurance got more expensive. Does that sound like strength? It's made up data that makes headlines look good, but doesn't reflect reality. The institutions know this, but they're playing the game anyway because they know the Fed is going to print money. They know liquidity is coming. They know asset prices are going to inflate. Now let's talk financing. From Halloween through today, AI trades have been trending down. The doom crowd is getting louder. But here's what really happened. People worried AI would run out of financing. Building AI infrastructure is expensive. Data centers, GPUs, power, cooling. Hyperscaler CapEx for 2025 hit around $320 billion. For 2026, projections are $520 to $530 billion. Money came from 3 sources: cash financing from Meta, Alphabet, Microsoft. That leg was never stressed. Debt financing through bonds. This showed cracks when Oracle's bond sales flopped. And private equity financing, which also showed stress when deals got stuck. But now the financing picture is improving massively. OpenAI is raising up to $100 billion, the largest private fundraising round in history, at an $830 billion valuation. This is sovereign wealth fund money. Saudi Arabia's PIF, UAE, Norway's pension fund. When sovereign wealth funds pour hundreds of billions into AI, all the financing concerns evaporate. Combine this with the Fed turning the money printer back on, cutting rates, and a White House cutting every regulation. The government loves to destroy the currency and throw money everywhere. It's very difficult to believe AI expenditure will suddenly collapse. Now here are the 6 stocks positioned to explode. These aren't obvious AI plays everyone's chasing. These are quality businesses at reasonable valuations positioned to benefit from everything I just described. Planet Labs, PL. This is the largest Earth imaging satellite constellation in space. Over 200 satellites capturing daily imagery of the entire planet. Defense, agriculture, energy, insurance all need this data. The Department of Defense is massively expanding satellite contracts. NASA's Artemis program, Space Force expansion. Ukraine conflict. Proving satellite intelligence is critical. When government spending on space and defense accelerates, Planet Labs captures billions. Trading at depressed valuations after years of losses, but revenue growing 20% annually with improving margins. Path to profitability in 2026. Target $8 to $12. EchoStar, SATs. This is the overlooked infrastructure play. They own Dish Network, Boost Mobile, and most importantly, nationwide 5G spectrum. Everyone focuses on T-Mobile and Verizon, but EchoStar controls massive mid-band spectrum assets worth tens of billions. With AI requiring edge computing and low latency networks, this spectrum becomes critical. Trading at massive discount to spectrum value. When telecom consolidation accelerates or spectrum gets monetized, $30 to $45. AMD, Jensen Huang gets all the attention, but Lisa Su is building the second AI empire. AMD's MI300 chips are the only real alternative to NVIDIA for AI training. Microsoft, Meta, Oracle are diversifying away from single source dependency. AMD data center revenue growing at 20% year over year. Server chips dominating Intel. When hyperscalers need supply chain diversity and AI capex hits $530 billion, AMD captures 20% to 25% of incremental spend, trading at 25 times forward earnings versus NVIDIA's 35 times with faster growth rates ahead. Target $200 to $250. Micron Technology, MU. Memory is the picks and shovels of AI. Every AI model, every training run, every inference requires massive amounts of high bandwidth memory. HBM3 and HBM3E are sold out through 2026. Micron controls 25% of global DRAM market and 10% of NAND. When AI infrastructure spending goes from $320 billion to $530 billion, memory demand explodes. Pricing power returns. Margins expand from 30% to 45%, trading at 10 times forward earnings in a boom cycle. Target, $150 to $180. Intuitive Machines LUNR. This is the pure play on the new space economy. They're one of only 3 companies NASA certified to deliver payloads to the lunar surface. Successfully landed on the moon in February 2024. NASA's Artemis program is spending $90 billion to return humans to the moon. Commercial lunar economy is projected at $170 billion by 2040. Intuitive Machines has $316 million in contracted backlog with NASA, defense, and commercial clients. And space infrastructure spending accelerates and lunar missions ramp. Target, $12 to $18. Lam Research, LRCX. Semiconductor equipment is the ultimate AI infrastructure play. You can't make advanced chips without Lam's etching and deposition tools. TSMC, Samsung, Intel are spending $400 billion on new fabs through 2027. Every 2 nanometer, 3 nanometer, and gate-all-around transistor chip requires Lam's equipment. China's semiconductor independence push adds another $150 billion, trading at 22 times earnings with 30% margins, $3 billion annual buybacks, and secular growth locked in for 5 years. Target, $950 to $1,100. What connects these 6? They're the infrastructure layer beneath AI. They benefit from lower rates making CapEx cheaper. They benefit from liquidity injections. They benefit from unstoppable secular trends in AI, space, and semiconductor manufacturing. And they're undervalued relative to the CapEx tsunami coming. Now, the 7 things you must do by January 31st. 1, clean up your portfolio. No more hold and hope. Ask yourself, if I didn't own this today, would I buy it right now for 3 to 5 years? If no, sell it. Dead money kills portfolios. 2, tax loss harvest smart. Sell losing positions to offset gains. Only if you've lost conviction. Don't sell great stocks just because they're down. 3, commit to long-term investing. So many people panic bought, panic sold, repeat. If you just held, many stocks are up 50% to 300%. Holding high conviction stocks is your ticket. 4, know where strength will be. Focus on AI infrastructure, semiconductor equipment, space economy, memory, and compute. Avoid extreme valuations, narrative-only stories, heavy debt. 5, be prepared for all outcomes. You should be okay if the market grinds higher, goes sideways, or drops 20%. No forced selling, no leverage stress. Dry powder ready. 6, understand the VIX curve. This is what institutions use. The VIX measures fear. The VIX curve measures how institutions hedge. When it's flat, they're complacent. That's your window. When it steepens, they're scared. That's your signal to take profits. 7, think bigger picture. Don't think short term. Companies investing in AI infrastructure don't need to be profitable today. The hyperscalers are committed to $530 billion in CapEx. That money flows to PL, SETS, AMD, MU, Lunar, and LRCX, whether we're in a recession or boom. Here's the reality. Bank of America says investor sentiment is the highest since July 2021. After July 2021, we collapsed hard. So enjoy this rally. Take all the money the market gives you, but be smart. Don't get greedy. Don't leverage yourself like the hedge funds. America owes $37 trillion. The government pays $1 trillion per year just in interest. They can't pay it off, so they inflate it away. They print money, devalue the dollar, make asset holders rich, and cash holders poor. That's not fair, but it's happening. The wealth transfer has begun. People who position in quality infrastructure assets like PL, SATS, AMD, MU, LUNR, and LRCX will benefit. People holding cash will watch purchasing power evaporate. People who understand how institutions hedge will make generational wealth in 2026. The setup for 2026 is incredibly unusual and incredibly opportune for those paying attention. These 7 steps will help you position properly by January 31st. The next 6 months separate winners from losers. Make sure you're on the right side of that trade. This is not financial advice. You make your own decisions. Have a great rest of your day.